Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today we are talking about how being gay changes your perspective on a few things. Okay, inspiration for this was talking with a bunch of my girlfriends and a few other people and basically bouncing ideas off of them. But, quick version, being gay sort of alters your perception of the world. It has you grapple with some pretty big concepts and ideas. It tends to create a lot of character growth. I think adversity always creates character growth. People always joke that trauma makes them funnier and more interesting people. And while that is a bit of a depressing, kind of funny thought, it's also quite accurate. So essentially, what I'm thinking, and I've talked about this a little bit before, but I think being gay and coming to terms with being gay kind of fundamentally changes you. And I've heard people talk about it before, but like a straight person never has to kind of have these deep philosophical questions about who am I? Am I a good morally good person? What does our society teach us about being gay? Do I have to act a certain way in order to be gay or in order to fill some kind of requirement? There's a lot of these really, really big questions that, depending on when you find out that you're gay, you might have to be thinking about these things when you're like 10 years old or younger, or 14, when you're going through the horrible stage of puberty and you're trying to learn and grow and become who you want to be. You're also having to deal with these huge questions. Like, I don't think any of my straight friends had to ask themselves if they were a morally good person at 14 or 15 years old. Even at 19 years old, a lot of them just kind of take it for granted. Yeah, of course I'm a good person. But have you really ever thought about it? Gay people pretty much have. And you also, as someone who is gay, you have to you don't have to, but you tend to look at the world and go like, what is my life going to mean? What am I going to do with my life? The idea of having a traditional family and a traditional marriage and a traditional relationship is sort of thrown out of the window in the first minute of being gay. You're like, oh boy, how do I do this? This is different. And it causes gay people, I think, to be quite deep and thoughtful people. I've had a lot of really amazing chats with people, and some of my favorite stories and experiences are listening to people's experiences coming to terms with being gay. Some of them take the approach that like, nope, this isn't going to change me. This doesn't change who I am. I'm still me. Some people undergo a really dramatic revolution and they decide to change who they want to be and they become someone that they truly like. Some people have like a self-loathing type of personality where they just really don't like being gay. They really don't like who they are. And they have to come to terms with it. And sometimes they don't, and sometimes they do. And it really becomes a great story. But no matter what, when you're gay, you have these big questions to deal with. You have a lot of philosophy. This is like master's thesis philosophy level courses that gay people have to kind of grapple with and wonder about and question. And I think it's another great reason why straight people just don't understand. And I'm not trying to say that as like a gatekeeping kind of thing or like a unsympathetic thing, but I talk to straight people and they sort of seem like they get it, but of course they can't get it because being gay is this thing that affects you as soon as the idea of like relationships and intimacy, as soon as that stuff becomes relevant to you in your life, this stuff kind of has to be thought about and you have to really think critically. And it's very easy to fall into a negative thought pattern, especially when society, wherever you are in the world, doesn't necessarily endorse or support who you are. And there are so many of these fundamental questions that we still don't have answers to. We do not have enough evidence to prove that being gay is genetic or being gay is social, or if it's a combination of the two, or if it's one or the other, or if it's, there's a million different theories and concepts about where we come from and why we are the way we are. And some people talk about, well, it's toxins or pollutants, or, you know, like they talk about us being like mutants or like X-Men from like the superheroes, which is my favorite theory, of course. Just kidding. But in all honesty, these kinds of questions create a very dynamic, evolving personality type. And I have really never met somebody who is gay who was just kind of boring. You know, every single one of them has like a developed, very intricate, very specific way of seeing the world. They always, almost every time I get into like a deep conversation with an LGBT person, they have the most interesting thoughts about life, morality, spirituality, you know, almost everything, how they want their life to be. Every gay person has thought about that. Whereas you cannot say the same if you grow up in a society that's completely normal to you. You know, if you totally fit into society, if you are the standard North American person and everything just kind of clicks into place. Yeah, you've had some hard times dating. Yeah, you've had some like difficulties with parents and things like that. But it's quite different when you have that entire layer of being gay put on top of it. And I'm sure other minority groups and other groups of specific people can identify with what I'm saying and sort of see themselves in it, because it's I think it's very universal, but it's also very specific, and it applies to people in a very specific way, or it doesn't apply at all. So that's essentially what I'm trying to talk about. I don't think this is controversial, although now while I'm talking about it, it kind of sounds a little controversial, where I'm basically saying like gay people are different, but like of course they are, because they don't fit the narrative. They don't have the same advantages or whatever you want to call it. Gay people have a very different way of looking at the world and seeing it, and we face different kinds of adversity and different kinds of struggles. Everybody faces struggles. I'm completely open to admitting that every single person on this planet has a difficult life. Life is inherently difficult, and it has to be worked through, and you have to grow, and you have to roll with the punches, no matter what. I'm just talking about the specific characteristics that lead to being an LGBT person and how that affects our personality as like an individual. And I'm sure lots of psychologists and people can talk about the nuances of it all, but I just wanted to come on and basically talk anecdotally about how these things have shaped my perspective. I think it's made me a lot more thoughtful, a lot more compassionate, because I can kind of empathize with different people in their circumstances in a unique way. And I think that's kind of special. I really like that. It's one of the things that makes me super happy about being gay, and I really wouldn't change who I am. But you'll meet other gay people who hate being gay and physically dislike being attracted to the same sex and dislike who they are. And it's really sad to see, because a lot of it is just social upbringing and sort of being indoctrinated into feeling a specific way. Because not liking yourself is a problem. You know, if you fundamentally don't like yourself, I think it has less to do with you as a human being and more to do with the social surrounding that you have found yourself in, and your mindset, and how that has been shaped by who you've been around and, you know, encountered. So that's essentially what I want to say. Being gay makes you different. It's not revolutionary. I don't think it's crazy, but I just think it's something that you can think about and hopefully learn to appreciate. You know, if you are somebody who is still in the closet, or you're coming to terms with being gay, please realize that yes, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of trying to figure out, and you know, you're up late at night thinking like, why do I think this way? Why can't I just be normal? But I can honestly tell you that it gets better, and it gets so much better in so many ways, especially if you can get a support system that loves you for who you are and doesn't care about, you know, some of these nuances that are kind of irrelevant anyway, if I'm being honest. So please know it gets better. It really does. And I wouldn't change who I am for all the tea in China. That's an old English expression, but whatever. So yeah, let me know what you think. Do you think being gay has altered your personality dramatically? Do you think you are the exact same person? Like if you were born straight, do you think you would be the exact same person, or has it had an impact? There we go. So guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate your thoughtful comments. If you like the video, and as always, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.